Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So something that I've been wanting to clarify, and I actually have clarified, but I want to make it abundantly clear. So from Jay's interview with us, and basically there was kind of like a part one and like a follow-up, which came in two parts. Um, YieldMax's strategy, and that was the bulk of what we discussed, right? Their strategy for eliminating NAV erosion is not currently in effect. And I want to make this point because we have said this, but a lot of you out there still think that it is. Um, and we may have implied that it is, but it's not. So again, it's not currently in effect right now. So let me read again what he said, because the comments that I got were very interesting. Some of you all, even though I went through his answers like several times, some of you said, I didn't understand your video. They said you were like jumping from comments to answering. To they didn't understand. So I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe I need to like read them a third time, but we can do that at least with some of them. I don't think we need to read them all again, but the big takeaway, the like main question, the main topic that we've been really hammering is this new like three-pronged strategy for handling NAV. And so what happened, um, and it included, of course, doing more spread trades, owning the underlying, so on and so forth. And all that has happened is that they updated the prospectus for a couple of funds, mainly Misty, but they updated the prospectus for those funds. Sorry, Pay the Piper. They're all fake. I can't show you anything. They're all just a bluff. You know better than that. I posted them in YouTube, but it's difficult because not YouTube, but Discord. It's difficult. I will do that, but I just had a great interview with Jay. You have to understand. You have to understand the showbiz aspect of this. Just had a great interview with Jay. Best video ever. So I kind of have to stay on topic, if that makes sense. Anyway, so welcome to United Lift. Welcome to Chuck and Pay the Piper. So we will do that, not to worry. Maybe next. All right. So the question, and we followed up with it several times, right? So, all right, where was it? So in regards to Misty, so we asked him, when would you actually implement the new strategies defined in the prospectus for Misty, and what would cause it? The audience really likes the idea of minimizing NAV erosion. So that establishes that it's not currently in effect for any of the funds. And I thought it was before I had him on. Like I was looking at charts and seeing, wow, look, hey, this fund stabilized, this fund stabilized. I think there was a point I might have even thought they were doing it for all of them. But he explained, he said, that's just basically a bull market. A bull market's like the best thing for NAV stabilization. So I said, oh, there we go. Problem solved. And we joked about that. Of course, that was early on in the video. If you notice in the interview with him, we got right to business. We didn't really BS around. So anyway, his answer for that one, he said there are no plans for it, and even if we did, he said this will not impact NAV decay. These tactics have virtually zero impact on the fund performance and pricing. Why would anyone think this impacts NAV performance? So he was pretty adamant. There are no plans to implement the strategy, and even if they do, it's not going to impact NAV decay. So I actually, when I read the strategy myself, I thought it would. So I'm with all of you all. I was kind of fooled, I guess. Mike says it's just a bad investment. Hold long enough and you'll lose everything. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So let me show you my own personal Tesla holdings. I like to be transparent here. Let's see here. I need to go to Google Sheets, which I have not done on this new device yet. Here we go. It should be fine because I'm signed in. Or I thought I was. I guess my assistant didn't sign me in. All right. So let's see here. And I'm going to update this too. Is that it? I think I've done this a few times. So what you're going to see, basically, spoiler alert, with my Tesla shares that I still am holding the bag on, I'm not there yet. But I've made dividends. I've made significant dividends. So let's see. 100% ROI is the only goal with these funds. Well, what I like, I've seen the merits of if you can get these funds to where you you hold them, reinvest the dividends, and then get them to where you're at break even point. Everything from then on, if you really don't want to look at your investments on a regular basis, everything from then on is icing on the cake. It's total return, right? Let's see. Why is PLTY's expense ratio so high? Guess they're working extra hard, right? Problem with YieldMax, you can't lump sum invest. Now, Jay has said too, on some of these, they actually, I believe, refund a part of the expense ratio if some criteria happens. But yeah, I think pay the piper. How are you doing, by the way, on your Tesla and stuff like that? I think you're still a big fan of these funds. Okay, so my Tesla, so check this out. So 2 years ago, April 2023, I bought at a price, and this is pre-split, 13,204. I bought several tranches of Tesla. I went in pretty big. Okay, I was drinking the Kool-Aid on these funds. So, and then guess what I did? After the reverse split and in November when Tesla started running up, I bought more to bring my share count a little bit higher. So I now have or before the split, I had 4,881 shares. So you'll see what I did here when the split happened, I went down to 2,440 shares. So here I bought 560 shares to make my share count 3,000. So that's a total of $79,491 that I've put into this fund. Now I took the liberty of adding all the dividends I've ever gotten into this fund, right? All the dividends I've ever gotten adds up to 51,663. So if you subtract this from 79,000, I played around with some numbers here. What are we at currently with Tesla? Let's see here. This works so much better, by the way, this YouTube studio on this new MacBook. Let's see. So Tesla, I don't look at it hardly. So it's 833, so it's not fluctuating too much, but at a price, let's do this here. Oh, excuse me. At a price of 833, see what I just did here? Okay, so paid 79,000 for it. The dividends I've made plus this number here, column C15. Let me make this bigger so the old folks at home can see. Just kidding. It's small anyway. Okay, less than 25,000 is what we're holding the bag on with Tesla. So if we add that to the dividends over here in column D13, track with me, folks. That is 76,653.13. If you subtract these two, after every single dividend that I've been paid in Tesla, I'm still down $2,818. So I would need Tesla, if it gets to $9, I would still be down 808. If it gets to 950, I would be in the black 691. See? And I haven't changed the color yet because it's still in the red. But right now, after all is said and done, I'm still down. And keep in mind, by the way, folks, this is a record bull market. Record bull market, and I'm still down after over 2 years. And that's me personally. So, I'm being vulnerable here with you all. I want you to all to take that to the bank. Let's see. Problem with YieldMax, you can't lump sum invest. If they deduct what's paid from your principal, that's not a dividend. Can you all see again? We had this issue last night. I got to get rid of the Mac already. Dang, I just got it. Can you all see? I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. I don't know what's going on. Every time I click off of the thing, I have 41 people watching a black screen. Well, at least it's not a white screen. It's because it's a Mac. So you mean the whole time that I was sharing my screen, it didn't show? So tell me, like the whole time, that really ticks me off. Well, my voice is awesome to listen to. Oh, you got to be kidding me. This is really annoying. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying with the technology. That's why I got this. Guess I'm just freaking snake bit. You're a good visualizer. Let's try again. All right. Since you all are loyal fans, let's put you through some more difficulty, I guess. All right. Can everybody see this? It's real simple. So the amount of money I put into Tesla, 79,471. The amount of dividends I've made, 51,663. Let me see if I can. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess this thing can't do. Hold on a second. Chrome tab, window. How about now? How's it looking now? Can everybody see? All right, so it's real simple. I've made 79,471.47, or that's what I put into the Tesla. I've made 51,663 in dividends. The Tesla shares I have are currently worth 24,990. So if you add up that to the dividends I've made, that's 76,653. So I am still almost $3,000 short. I really don't understand, folks. I'm about to punch a wall. I'm like, I didn't lose 50 G's. I've lost 3,000 basically, which is frustrating because we're in a record bull market. So anyway, the moral of the story is, I guess I'll just read from my freaking phone here. See that? There. The MacBook can't hide that. So that's how much Tesla's lost. So over time, that is a loss of 75%. Phenomenal, right? And that's just price return. I know we keep saying total return, but that's really a crock of crap. But anyway, so what I'm trying to emphasize here is that this strategy is not currently in effect. So anything you see with any of these funds is just a function of the market going up. If it looks like things are more stable, it's not anything different. So let's see something here. Maybe I'm not using this tool properly. I don't know. What happens when the price gets to the point it is delisted? We answered that one too. So he said, and if you don't see my face, apologies. Um, it's pretty simple. They just return the NAV of the fund back to the shareholders. What has Tesla done over that time? Yeah, that's actually a very valid point. By the way, folks, please remember to smash that like button. We got 53 live viewers and 3 likes and 0 super chats, of course. By the way, anytime anybody that wants to get their comment to the front of the line or has a video idea for me, I do those for super chats. Okay, so Tesla over that time frame, Tesla is up 75%. It's like opposite. Are we sure Tesla's not an inverse fund? So yeah, Tesla right here. And since January of 2023, it's up 166%. Wow, read them and weep. Since June, 2 years, right? We're looking at 2 years, a little over 2 years. Since May 1st, 2023, 91%. And it's the only one that had that reverse split. So, like I mentioned to Jay, I said, "Hey, you haven't done any more reverse splits?" He's like, "Yeah, because that people were such, not fans of the first one, so they haven't done a second one." Anyway, so we went over S&P Target Fund. If you haven't watched the last video, please do. He said they're not filing for any leveraged funds like Defiance. Defiance has MST. He said some of the cash generated from YieldMax funds from the trades goes into the NAV. It happens when there are realized gains from appreciation, but all of the sold premium is distributed. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then somebody said, my main questions are related to the ending of these funds. When and why would they choose to shut down a fund in the future? What happens then? Return the NAV. He said, generally, funds simply return the existing NAV back to shareholders in the form of cash. So that's what would happen there. I have a question for you all, fine folks. Okay, so when I am clicking off, does my beautiful face disappear? And during any course of the video, have you all been able to see the screen that I've shared at all? That's what I'd like to know. All right, so we're getting better on the like ratio. We're up to 12. We got to keep driving that up higher, and higher and higher, like what we want our YieldMax shares to do. You have been trading options. How you come across your NAV being down? I mean, your asset value has gone down. No, actually, since I've been doing the wheel, I've grown my account remarkably. I made $50,000 yesterday trading options. I would do that. Unfortunately, here's what happens. If you all want to know a little dark secret behind the show business of YouTube, when I have Jay on and when I do dividend videos, I get 17,000 views. But when I teach somebody how to make $300,000 a year in options, I barely break 100 views. And you know why? That's because most of you all, I wish you all would. I have to give you all some tough love. I wish you all would wisen up and have more of a desire and an aptitude to learn a skill instead of sitting back and wanting dividends. Because that's what I hate to say it, that's what a lot of you all want. You all want it done for you. You want passive income. You don't want to learn a skill. And I'm here teaching you. I'm literally showing you what I do. Like if you look at my Discord, let me try to share a screen again here. I'm gonna try. But okay, we're gonna do this again real quick. If it's black, it's black. Okay, here you go, Piper. All right, this is what you want. I'm literally showing every trade I make. Now I can see the screen. The screen looks fine. That's weird because I can see myself. Money and debate can't see, but the Heffalump can see. Okay, some of you can see, some of you can't. If you can't see, I would just encourage you all to watch it on the back end. It's another view for me anyway. Joking, of course. But that's the thing. You all want the dividends you want it handed to you, unfortunately. And you need some tough love. You have to be wealthy in this life, you've got to learn a skill. I'm not saying you have to go start a business or you have to go grind every day of the week. It's fairly easy, but you have to have some aptitude and some fortitude, and you have to want to learn a skill. I'm literally showing you, like, look at this here. This here, if you don't know what any of this means, or if you think it's another language, or if your mind just shuts down, you should see that there's two accounts. One of them yesterday made 29,928. The other one made 4,307. And then yet another one that I'm not even showing on the screen made another 20,000. Okay. So like, look, NVDL, this NVDL 25,01919. What are those numbers? 25 is the year we're in. '09 is the month, and the day of expiration. It's a put, and it's an $80 strike price. Just follow along. These all make sense. So I sold, because this is a big account. This is basically my former 401k. I sold 75,000 worth of premium. I bought back at 56,000. So what is that? That's a net gain, folks, of almost $19,000. So that's when you start doing this yourself, that's how you realize the real wealth. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drill it into y'all because I do believe, and I believe you all have potential, but I've gotta mold your minds. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm the coach. I've got to mold your minds so that you can. The starting balance of this account, by the way, was when I rolled it over. In fact, I'm holding the checks here by my supposed fake degrees, actually. Check this one out. It was 439,000 here, 41,000 here. So it added up to 480. I've already grown these to 550,000 in not even a month, by the way. I'll have you know. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying once you know what you're doing, life gets easy. So I'm gonna do a separate video on this, but think about where we're coming from. And I love this because I've got a large audience right now that I can really talk to. Um, you all are sitting here groveling and whining about, oh, NAV, we've held YieldMax for 2 years, and the NAV. Will learn a damn skill yourself, right? Learn how to trade options yourself. That's what I did. And guess what I'm going to do? And don't tell anybody, because some of these people think, oh, look, he's not a true YieldMax person. This will just be a secret between all 70 of us, right? Not that we're going to go share or tell anybody this, right? This will be a secret just between us watching this video. If I keep doing well trading options, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dump my Tesla by the end of the year. I'll just eat the loss because the amount of money, and by then I expect to have at least broke even. So then at that point, I have to agree with the schools of thought that say it's like real estate, you know? And it's like, okay, it's like I sold my house and it didn't do anything, which happened to a lot of people during the Great Recession of '08 and '09. All right, here you all go. I'll leave you all, since you all have stayed tuned for this long. I'll leave you all with a treat here, and we're gonna cover this in another video. But I guess here's the caveat: only those of you that can see my screen are the only ones that are gonna be able to actually see this. But this is my year to date. Okay, none of this is to brag. Just saying that it's better to learn a skill than it is to sit back and watch YieldMax's NAV erosion. Okay, so what you're looking at here is this started out in 2021 as a dream for me. I even thought it was a pipe dream. It is now a reality. I am now, right now, folks, making more trading than I make working. So Pay the Piper says, when are you quitting your job? I actually don't want to, because the job's not super, super hard and I get good benefits. So he asked about Kumair. Kumair actually got removed from YouTube. He's on Twitter. Had nothing to do with that. Wish him the best. Anything I can do to help get him reinstated, more than happy to do it. Quote me on that, because I know some of you like to. Anyway, so yeah, this is, you're maxing out your Roth. I did for years. I maxed out the 401k for years. That's why the 401 was worth so much when I rolled it over. The only thing, I wish I rolled this like 2 years ago, because the amount that it's unleashed is incredible. When you own Tesla for that long, did you drip the dividends back into Tesla? I did a couple times, but I realized that wasn't working. So then I just went ahead and I took the dividends myself and put it into stuff like this. Have a good source for learning how to trade options. Yeah, you're looking at him right here. This face right here. This face, these hands. Hold on. So one of my devices, I have advanced financial forecasting equipment, also known as the 8-ball. He says he's a geezer John. So am I a good source of options trading knowledge? It says reply hazy, try again. But the good news is, if we don't get the right answer, or the answer we want, we can always shake it again. This is actually how the Fed picks interest rates, by the way, too, like Freddie Bitcoin said. They do too. Now it says without a doubt. There we go. Coach, tax on YieldMax. Yeah, taxes suck. They're overrated. But on this channel, we do care about taxes, by the way. And with the return of capital, it reduced our taxes a lot. I thought on my $64,000 of dividends, I thought I was going to owe a lot more, but I owed a lot less than I thought I would. Those are all separate videos. I can't stay here, forever, of course. Turning 60. Oh, congrats. So you kind of are getting to be a geezer, I guess, but that's not super old. I mean, 60 is really not that old in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, so yeah, we're just getting started. I will say it hasn't been all perfect. As you see, there are some losses there. And one mistake I made when I rolled, I made 50,000 yesterday. When I bought these back, SMCX, I had no idea that it was going to do what it did today. So if you all saw, SMCX was up like 11% today. I would have made probably another 20,000 if I just kept my positions open another day. So I was a little mad at myself for that. I'm happy with the gains. What I kind of like to do, and it helps on videos like this, it helps illustrate, like, look, you see that pretty chart. But then, because I went ahead and did that, so it shows as a realized gain, and I took the profit, which I'm not mad, because I took great profits, but it could have been even better. And at this stage of my life, I want to like knock it out of the park as best as I can. And I want that for all of you all too. Anyway, so that's going to do it for us this evening. I hate to leave, wow, 80 of you on. But remember that you got to have some aptitude to learn a skill, sitting here and being upset about the NAV, the declining NAV. Learn options, follow my options videos. And thank you all so much. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join Discord, where all these trades are posted, by the way. All right, folks. Thanks again. Take care. Have a great night. Bye.